like Zoink Scoob. I love all the bands we've been meeting over the years, like Josie and the Pussycats, or the Hex Girls. I gotta admit, the band Kiss is really out of this world, isn't it, Scoob? I was just thinking the same thing, Shaggy. Good evening, everybody. The media guy is back with another fantastic movie review. And if my Shaggy and Scooby impression about the band Kiss didn't give it away, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on Scooby-Doo and Kiss Rock and Roll Mystery Original Movie. Which, first of all, whoa, what a name for a Scooby-Doo movie. And second of all, I assume that you guys probably didn't even know about this movie. Well, maybe you did thanks to JB and Millie talking about it. But I assume that the rest of you guys probably didn't even know much about this movie at all. Which I wouldn't blame you. But don't worry. This is one of many crossover movies, and if you guys want to know what this movie's about, turn up the volume with Scooby-Doo and Kiss. Okay, for some reason, this tagline would have been taken out of context. Maybe I'm just being a little paranoid, but whatever. Get ready to rock! Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Inc. gang teams up with the one and only Kiss in this all-new, out-of-this-world adventure. Oh, trust me, based on what I was watching, it wasn't lying. We joined the gang at Kiss World, the All Things Kiss theme park, as they investigate a series of strange hauntings. With the help from Kiss, they discover that the Crimson Witch has returned to summon the Destroyer from the alternate dimension of Kisteria. The evil duo's ghastly plan to destroy the Earth. Can the gang's cunning and Kiss power of rock save the day? Oh boy, tune in to this rock and roll mystery for some thunderous heavy fun. Oh boy. This was quite a movie. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it has been a very, very, very long time since I've seen this movie. But after watching it again for the first time, especially during the Halloween season, I have to admit, this is a pretty interesting Scooby-Doo movie. I mean, even though I'm not much of an expert on the band Kiss in general, which I assume most of you guys in the comments are gonna be like big fans of the band, which I wouldn't blame you. This movie is pretty much a lot of fun. Great animation, a great cast of characters, a great and insane story with a beginning, middle, and end. And I thought Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold and Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2 had wild plots. And I gotta admit, there's like so many references to the band Kiss that I can't even keep track of how many there are. Considering, well, I didn't grow up with every single song the band performed. And funny enough, this was actually the only time I was familiar with the band. Okay, that's technically true because this isn't the first time that the band Kiss has appeared in the Scooby-Doo franchise. If you remember, towards the end of the What's New Scooby-Doo episode of Scooby-Doo Halloween, the band Kiss do make their first ever cartoon appearance in the Scooby-Doo franchise at the end of the episode. Was basically more of a song montage and during the big reveal of who the ghost is. So that's actually the first time making a guest appearance on Scooby-Doo. And this movie is their second appearance. And you might not believe this, but originally In the Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episode, I Put a Hex on You, guest starring the Hex Girls, that was originally meant to be the episode with the band Kiss in it, which probably would have meant it would have then been their second appearance on Scooby-Doo. Third appearance. But I guess it was changed in late production to feature the Hex Girls. Which, no offense, I have nothing against the Hex Girls, but it probably would have been cool if the band Kiss made a guest appearance on Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. Which probably meant they would have appeared 3 times in a row. But moving on from that. I gotta admit, the songs in this movie are quite amazing and toe-tapping. And they fit in perfectly with this movie. Ra-da-ba-da-ba-ro night. Yeah, I couldn't keep up with every song in this movie. And I also like the opening sequence of this movie because it's actually in the style of the band Kiss. Yeah, they actually got a chance. They actually sang most of the songs in this movie. And I'm guessing the filmmakers really had to come up with some interesting songs for the band to sing along to. Yeah. And yeah, I guess I will address the elephant in the room. This probably would have been the first time that Velma would have been a little bit skeptical about supernatural things being real. And this would somewhat carry on to some of the later direct-to-video Scooby-Doo films. Mainly Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo and the Curse of the 13th Ghost. And, well, yes, including Scooby-Doo and the Sword and the Scoob. But I'm pretty sure several other people on YouTube has already brought this up. Hey, there are times where Fred will get a little bit jealous of this guy for trying to steal Daphne from him. Yes, I guess the whole Fred and Daphne relationship thing is still canon, even outside of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated and Scooby-Doo Stage Fright. Another thing I like about this movie is the theme park itself. Holy moly! The Kiss world is really something. If that was like an actual theme park right now, all Kiss fans would have yoinked the pants by now. And I thought the WWE City in the first Scooby-Doo WWE crossover movie was really something, but imagine if Kiss World did become like an actual theme park at some point. Even for a non-Kiss fan, mainly me, even non-Kiss fans would have checked out that place. Man, and yeah, I know it's not an actual place in real life, but I guess the filmmakers went out of their way to make the theme park look very legit. And if Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne, and Velma seem a bit excited about going there when they first arrive. Now, I have to admit, the Crimson Witch, which is this lady here, she is one insane, menacing villain. She's not like your regular witch that Scooby and the gang has met before. Look at her. The only way to describe her is she's kind of like a mix between Brainiac, who is one of Superman's villains, and I guess Sarah Ravencroft from Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, and the Ozark Witch. So imagine all 3 of those villains I mentioned got mixed into a blender, and boom, out comes this gal. She's the one that's terrorizing the theme park, all because she's trying to find the Rock of Hysteria, which is just a giant black diamond. And if you watch this movie all the way through, or at least seen clips of this movie at some point, You would pretty much catch on to that. And just remind me to never encounter her at some point. I mean, holy hot dang. And I honestly don't blame Shaggy and Scooby for being scared out of their wits, as well as the entire gang themselves. And speaking of which, the entire Hysteria dimension is really psychedelia, a real wild place to live. I mean, of course, in real life, we all know that Hysteria is probably not a real dimension. But seriously, just look at how insane Hysteria looks. I mean, it is meant to take place in another dimension and somewhere in outer space or something. And yeah, I know some of that's probably made up for this movie. And even if it wasn't, it still looked pretty amazing. Oh man, Hysteria is really quite a place. Even if I was sort of skeptical about it at first. And I honestly think, okay, and to be fair, can you imagine if you guys ever wanted to visit Hysteria at some point? You know, if it was a real place, would you check it out at some point? Just let me know down in the comments below. Now, I'm not sure how they were able to advertise this movie. I mean, I'm sure they must have advertised the heck out of this movie. Probably the same way they did with the Scooby-Doo and WWE movies. Or any other Scooby-Doo and DC crossover movies. They probably didn't, but hey, you never know. But anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out my review of Scooby-Doo and Kids Rock and Roll Mystery. And I gotta admit, it sure has been a long time since I saw this movie. And I'm glad I got a chance to rewatch it for the first time this year. And man, it really felt good to check this movie out again, because, like I said several times before, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. So I'll give this movie 5 rock and roll guitars out of 5. Because that's how groovy this movie is. And who knows, maybe someday I might do like a second look review of this movie at some point. Oh, now before I wrap this up, Fred does make references to past roller coaster themed ghouls, like Charlie the Haunted Robot and the Roller Coaster. So I'm guessing What's New Scooby-Doo is somewhat connected with this movie at some point. I almost forgot about that little detail.